Wahlburgers! I hope all is well. Let's just real quick take a look at what I'm asking you to do for this week. Now, this week we are shifting gears. We are going to start, actually, I think this last month that we have together here is some of the most interesting history that we have. Because it's showing America at the turn of the century, when it goes from the 1800s to the 1900s. And there's a lot of stuff going on. We're going to start this week specifically talking about how America becomes an industrial powerhouse and the inventions that are involved with all of that. Next week, we'll be looking at the people who really did all that work, specifically immigrants. We talk about, the problems in that society, and then how did people try to fix it? And I think by the end, we are looking at one of my favorite human beings ever, the Teddy Roosevelt. So that's kind of our game plan for the next couple of weeks. Let's specifically look at industrialism and, some inventions. So on the Schoology, this is what we are looking at. First, you will notice this week is kind of wonky in that I have a Monday folder, a Tuesday through Thursday folder, and then Friday folder. So let's dig into what's going on there. For Monday, I do have a brief overview of what we're calling the industrial economy. It is crash course there. It is going a little bit quick like he has in the past. It may be a little bit more in detail than we really need. However, and I do have just a link to YouTube if you need that. But I do have a conversation attached to this as well, or a discussion here. Some of you have been doing excellent when it comes to these discussion posts. Some of you I'd like a little bit more. So hey, for this one, I'm looking for at least 5 sentences here. I do have some questions that you can focus on. You do not have to answer all of these, but I would probably use these as some sort of ideas of where to go. So the questions I have that you could possibly answer: how does the Civil War cause the growth of industry? How did migration assist with the growth of industry? He's going to spend quite a bit on railroads. So how did railroads lead to industrial success? During this time period, we get some people who are very prominent. It could be John D. Rockefeller or Andrew Carnegie. To an extent, Milton Hershey gets thrown into this as well. Henry Ford, some of the big names here. Sometimes they're considered, I spelled considered wrong. Way to go, Mr. Wahlberg. Sometimes they're considered captains of industry, kind of showing how they have great business insight and were able to revolutionize some things. But sometimes they're known as robber barons, that they're taking from the poor and acting like these almost like little dictators. And some people fall into both categories depending on how you look at them. So he gives some examples here. Are there any prominent business people today that we could consider either a robber baron or a captain of industry? Some of the big names that you might throw out there, I don't know, Zuckerberg could possibly fit that. Who's the Tesla guy? Elon Musk, Bill Gates? I don't know. I'm just throwing some names up there, maybe. In what ways did businesses try to create the most wealth? So we see businesses doing some interesting things there. What were working conditions like for workers during this time period? And then they're going to end up with talking about labor unions. What were labor unions trying to do? So yeah, at least 5 sentences here. Give me a good discussion. And then again, by the end of the week, so by next Sunday, please comment on at least 2 of your fellow classmates. Now, if I go back here, Tuesday through Thursday, I'm going to spend quite a bit of time here. When we talk about this era of innovation, we do see a lot of inventions being made, some prominent ones here. And so my task for you, and this is really going to take, I would say, the entire week, is doing a little bit of research on an invention from this time period, and actually ultimately making an advertisement. So you guys can easily read this. I believe in you. But this is going to be 2 parts here, actually 3 parts really. Number 1, there is a nice long list of inventions down here. Pick one. I don't really whichever one kind of interests you, and if you need to look around and find something about them, cool, awesome. I would say stay focused on the time period of 1860 to about 1920s is really the time period that we're looking at here. So, for example, if you're finding out information about the refrigerator and all that information is current, well, this same technology doesn't really apply. Um, there's not the little water filter thing or the fact that, they connect to the internet. Well, no. Try to focus in the historical period. I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of research. So you'll notice my second link here, the little assessment thing, says invention notes. I believe it's going to give you a Word document. It's nothing too complicated here. This is all I'm looking for. But I think this adds up to 30 points. 30 points, yes. What I'm looking for from you is, hey, who invented whatever invention you picked? When was it invented? More importantly, what does this invention actually do, and how is that going to impact Americans? So maybe you're going to find that in research, or maybe you kind of have an idea of what this object is. Well, how is that going to change things? And I am looking for a source. This can be a quick copy paste job there if you want to use what was it now? EasyBib would work. What am I talking about? Noodle Tools to come up with that. That's fine. But come up with a citation there. And then ultimately, what I want you to do with all of this information is make some sort of advertisement. So let me go here. So you can advertise this however you see fit. So I'll probably later in the week put up some advertisements like from newspapers or magazines trying to show off these innovations. So if you want to do something on the illustration side, great. If you want to make a brochure of some sort, cool. If you actually want to record yourself and make like a commercial, a radio commercial, TV commercial, I know TV commercial is a bit of a stretch. They didn't really have TVs then. And by really, they didn't. That's fine there. But you have a couple of different ways to do that. So before I do that, hey, what am I looking for? I want you to accurately describe what this invention looks like, or does, I'm sorry. Come up with some sort of slogan, something catchy that's going to stick in people's heads. In your notes, I ask you, who is this going to impact? So how are you advertising to that group of people? So if your invention's really, really going to help out farmers, is your advertisement targeted towards them? And then have fun with this. Be creative. You can submit this either on Schoology. That's where this can come in here. Push comes to shove, you need to email that to me. Cool, that's fine. I also have a Wakelet link. I know Mr. Truex has been using that quite a bit. But what you can do here, a couple of things that you could possibly do. If you take a picture, if you draw something, you might be able to scan it, upload it as a PDF. Maybe you take a picture of it, that's fine. If it's something like some sort of document of some sort, that's fine, using that way. You can actually use Flipgrid to record yourself. So blah, 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 blah. Oh, I can't really record right now because my camera's being used by recording this. So there's all that. So yeah, have fun with this. Be creative. And again, choose something that interests you and make sure we're focusing on that time period. Finally, for Friday, once again, we do have another journal entry in what the heck has been going on in the world this week and how it's been impacting you guys. Once again, I will be having our online meeting on Wednesdays, either in the morning or at 1:30 in the afternoon, whichever one works best for you. I have my office hours, and hey, I know I'm kind of throwing a curveball at you guys with some sort of project here. If you have any questions or concerns or things are not working out for you, please, please, please let me know. Email me, check in during office hours, what have you. Sorry, this one went a little bit on the longer side. Again, hope all is well, and I hope to see you sometime this week, either in office hours or in class. Hey, take care, guys.